Listen.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. Well, I'll go right straight to the textbook itself. First of all, you ask, what is a friend? Now, there's no way for anybody to be friends in a non-just system. That's just not going to happen. People kick that word friend around just like we kick around a lot of words. Use a lot of words very loosely without having definition for what we're talking about. It's impossible to have a friend in the system of white supremacy. Why? We're in a non-just system. So you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend. You can't have a friend, period. You just do the best you can in a system that's rotten to the core. It's all rotten. Even though, it has a lot of sweetness to it, artificial sweetener, you might say. The white supremacists know how to do tons of that. They know how to sugarcoat everything, okay? So we get that taste of the sugar, but that's not genuine. It's not genuine. It's not real. You cannot have true friendship in a non-just system, but you just do the best you can to do what? Minimize the harm that you do to people. Try to be as constructive as you possibly can, but you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend in a system that doesn't allow friendship. There's no such thing as friendship in a non-just system. It's just people doing stuff. So the stuff that you do, just try to make it as constructive as you possibly can, knowing full well you can't get it the way that it ought to be. There's no way you can get any kind of relationship the way that it ought to be in a system that's set up to prevent everything from being the way that it ought to be when it comes to interaction between people. It's not going to happen.
Wow.
Trying to pretend that it's happening is just that. Now, we are excellent pretenders because we hurt all the time. So what we do is go around all day pretending. We're pretending that we have friends. The white supremacists do not allow that. Friendship means you have justice. What does that mean? What we've been repeating in this program all the time. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. That's a big order. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated at no time? You guarantee that? But that's what you got to have if you got justice. And the other part is guaranteeing that everybody who needs constructive help gets it. You got to guarantee that. No half-stepping. No, I'll see about it next week. No, you got to guarantee it right now. That doesn't exist anywhere on the planet. But that's the way it should have been in the beginning.
In the beginning, yes.
Of time. All right? But everything got off track. And the white supremacists have made sure that it stays off track.
Yes.
Because they believe in mistreating people deliberately. And dominating and getting people to mistreat each other. So you don't have this friendship.
Absolutely.
There's no way to get it. Every black person on the planet who has been exposed to white supremacy, and the assumption is every black person on the planet has been, even when they haven't been in contact with white people directly. They've been exposed to the white culture indirectly. White culture is about white supremacy. Now, what does white supremacy do?
it teaches people of color that if you are a male, you cannot be a man, period. Not in the system of white supremacy. And you're not going to be treated like a man, ever. Now, you can walk around and think that you're a man, but that's between you and you, strictly between you and yourself, because no white person has an obligation, if you're a black male, to treat you like you are a man. And it's logical simply because in the system of white supremacy, it's impossible for a black male to be a man. It doesn't make any difference how old he gets or what he knows or what kind of connections. That can't be done. I just start with myself. I'm not eligible, not qualified to be a man. Why? Because I was born in captivity, that's why. When you're in captivity, when you're a prisoner of war, you are strictly that and nothing else. A prisoner of war, a victim of white supremacy. And you don't have another title. You can give yourselves all kinds of titles, which is why black people love titles. We give ourselves all kinds of titles. We give each other all kinds of titles. Some titles, it's not as bad as it was in the old days. I say bad, if you want to use that word. But some people used to say professor, reverend, most high. I mean, before you ever get to a name, you would have about 40 titles. You know, when somebody introduces you, if you're supposed to be what you call a big shot Negro in the old days. This is not new. This goes way back. That struggle. Oh, I'd just love to be a man. I mean, what can it take? But by this generation, what you call the new millennia, most young black people have looked around. They have looked at the people that came before them, who since the 1960s, the white supremacists have done a rough job on black malehood. First of all, giving them an option that you can continue to be a big boy, or if you really want to get some material benefits, put on some gold slippers and skip around, and grin all the time and all like that, and have a little money in your pocket. Now you can be a black girl if you're a black male. You can be a black girl, but you cannot be a man. You will never be a man in the system of white supremacy. Now, they have put that in cement. They have written, or rather in steel, or whatever the hardest subject, a diamond. The white supremacists have put that philosophy out here since the 1970s. That's the benchmark that I give it. All over the world, and they're spreading it. They're saying, you're not going to be a man. You're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch? On my watch? This is the voice of the white supremacists now. Racist man and racist woman. Say, that's not going to happen. Say, now Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and all that, they said that that's what they're going to make you out of. But it's not going to happen. Now, you can talk it, but you make any move to make that real, and you're going to wonder what fell on you. Now, they have made that clear to all of us. And the young black people have picked up that signal. And they say, well, if I can't be a man and I don't want to be like my sisters, I don't want to switch around all day looking for a male, and I pretend to be a female or try to switch over and be one if they can operate on me and make me one, because then things become easier. I guess, I hope, but I definitely can't be a man because I'm in big trouble if I try to be. Then what can I be? Well, the white supremacist said, well, I'll give you another outside option. You can go around and pretend that you're a man by doing harm to other black people. That's cursing out black females, calling them names and all like that. Write songs about them where you call them all kinds of names and kick them all up and down the street. We don't care about that. Kick your mother up and down the street. We rejoice when we see you do that, okay? But if you start acting anything like you ask for respect from us, the white supremacists, boy, you're going to get dead real quick. Most black males, we know that because they teach us that in no uncertain terms when we really start asserting ourselves and say, you're going to respect me as a man. And the white supremacists said, you tell that to other black people, but don't you get in my face ever, boy, and act like you even thinking like that, dealing with me. Now, I'll play with you for a little while. I'll laugh and joke with you. But if you get serious and think that you're going to be a man and when I'm here, because there ain't but one man in this house, and when I say house, I mean the entire planet Earth. Anytime you think with your black self, you're going to be a man in my presence, you got another thing coming. Now, like I said, I'll play with you. I'll kid around with you. I'll joke with you. I'll play some ball games with you and all like that. Don't you ever think that you're a man. You're a boy, or you can act like your sisters and be a girl, and you ain't got no other choices with me. But you got all kind of choices with your own people. Even though your own people are really not your own people, they are mine too. But you can kill them. You can tell them, ain't nobody going to disrespect you. Well, you tell that to other black people, boy. Well, don't you ever even think it in my presence. You don't even have to say it. Don't you even act like you might be thinking that, or you're going to find out what the hell is. And you know what? The white supremacists are proving that they can deliver on that message every time. And I don't care who you are, if you're black on this planet. When you really put them to an acid test, they have so far proven that nobody will take them on, because nobody knows how to, including Neely Fuller. I'm just trying to find out. I'm in their prison too. I was born in their prison too. So to get to the crux of what we're talking about here, for black males, we're talking about manhood. And it's not going to happen, folks. As long as you have the system of white supremacy in place and not having a system of justice. This is why, rather than run around killing each other, that's not going to help. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that, because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.